What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another video, and this time it's going to be this beautiful easy holiday glam look. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I got this beautiful glam look, then just go ahead and keep on watching. So for this look, I'm literally going to be using just the Morphe James Charles palette. This palette is going to have every color that you need, but if you don't have this palette, obviously feel free to substitute it with different colors, different reds, or even different colors, you know, it doesn't really matter. And for the glitter, I'm going to be using the NYX glitter. This is the eye body glitter, as well as the NYX glitter primer, which works super good. Okay, so first what we're going to do, as usual, is prep our eye, and I'm just going to go ahead and use a little bit of my e.l.f. concealer for this. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and set the eye with whatever shade close to your skin color as you have. I'm just going to go ahead and use this first color right here from the James Charles palette. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and take this red right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and start to buff that into my crease. And I know this looks really aggressive, but I already filmed this twice before, and this is the best way that I found. So we're just going to go ahead and blend it. Okay, now I know this looks really bright and it almost looks orange in this lighting, but I'm going to tone it down with this deep red right here. It looks like it's brown, but it's actually like a burgundy kind of color. So I'm going to go ahead and take that color and just start to deepen up the crease with that color. And you want to start dragging that color like about a third of a way into your crease right here, just so that your colors blend really nicely with the glitter. So just keep adding color, deepening it up. At this point, I usually go ahead and go back and forth between that really bright red and that burgundy red, just so that I can make sure that all my colors are going to be bright and popping and blend seamlessly in my eye. Switching back and forth, adding that bright red color back into the eye, and then deepening up with the burgundy. Okay, so now that I have that red kind of deepened up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and take this color right here. This is a deeper brown. And this time I'm going to take a nice little pointed fluffy brush and just dip in there, and then really start to concentrate this in the outer edge as well as tightly into your crease. So let's just go ahead and deepen it up. I like to set the color down first, and once I have it pretty packed, I will go ahead and start to sweep it into the crease. And I find that this just makes your blending in the crease a little bit more seamlessly when you don't add all the color at once and just kind of take a little bit of color from the edge and sweep it into there. Once again, just keep on deepening it up with that color to your desired depth. With this color, just go ahead and make the shape. I'm gonna go ahead and make a V right here. So I'm using this color as kind of a guide and then filling in the shape of the outer V. And this is gonna really help you elongate the eye by creating this longer kind of triangular shape back here. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit of that deep red that I had before, and I'm gonna just sweep it in there to kind of blend the colors together. Then I'm gonna go into the brighter red and also blend a little bit more, just to add a little bit more of that depth and color back into your eye. So first the deeper burgundy, and back in with that really bright red. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this color right here. It is a deep, deep brown. And with that same little pencil brush, I'm going to just concentrate this really on the V and tightly into the crease a little bit. Again, I am packing in the outer corner and then sweeping into the crease, because I really want the darkest color to be tightly into the outer corner. And once again, I'm going to go ahead and diffuse the edge with the previous colors I used. Just use whatever color you think you need. I think that first I'm probably going to take the burgundy color and just diffuse it here. You don't even really need to add product. You can almost just take whatever is left on your brush and start to diffuse. And then back in with the bright red to deepen that color back up that we kind of lost. Just like so. And that is it for the shadows for now. Now we're going to start to cut the crease. I'm not going to take any concealer or anything like that, just because I want to keep this nice and easy, and that's kind of just like an additional step that I don't actually really need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nice little small brush like so. It's already dirty because I used it for my other eye. And then on the back of my hand, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of that NYX primer. And then use this kind of as you would your concealer. Create your guide of where you're going to want your glitter to lay. I'm going to do somewhat of a cut crease, so that's just what I'm going to do on this side. And I will show you guys that. So I like to start laying it out in the middle and working my way up just to avoid any kind of mess ups. And you will see that this has like a very nice like tone, like skin tone color. So it's not hard to, see what you're doing. It's not completely clear. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to go any further just because I'm going to lay my glitter down and kind of see where I need a little bit more of that glitter primer to add. So I'm going to go ahead and just on the back of a little, clear thing that I had laying around, and on another little flat brush, I'm going to start packing my glitter. Okay, so that's what I have so far. I'm going to go ahead and take it just a little bit further because that's what I did on the other eye. So adding a little bit more here. Just like so. And just keep messing with it and adding a little bit more wherever you think that you need some. Like for example, I already added some in the middle, but it seems like it kind of dried. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take a little bit more and over top add it. And then just lay a little bit more glitter on top. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just line my eye a little bit and then come back and show you guys how I finish blending out the eyeshadow. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now that I have my eyeliner done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the James Charles palette once again. And I'm going to go into this black right here. Again, back on that little tiny pointer brush. And I'm going to start to blend the liner line a little bit. Just to add a little bit more depth right there. And kind of work it into the glitter. And that is pretty much it for the eyelid. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and finish putting on the rest of my face makeup, and I will be back to show you guys what I do on my lower lash line to just tie everything together, and that way you guys can see what the final product looks like. So let me just go ahead and do that, and I will be back to show you guys the rest. Okay guys, so I'm back and I've done my whole face, and now all I have to do is do the lower lash line. So this is gonna be super easy. I'm gonna go ahead and take the two red colors, which is gonna be this bright red right here as well as this burgundy color. And I'm gonna take this on a very dense flat brush and dip them in both of the reds. So just a little bit like that, tap off any excess, and then I'm going to start adding it to the very outer edge, very light-handedly. I don't like a whole lot of situation going on in my lower lash line, so I'm going to go very lightly and just begin to sweep it in almost all the way, but not quite. We're going to leave about 1/3 of the way. Now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and take a tiny little dense brush like this and dip just into the burgundy color. Very lightly, dab the extra off, and then focus this tightly onto your outer lower lash line. And kind of sweep it into your liner a little bit. And then I have this very large fluffy brush, and with no additional product, I'm just going to take this brush and just sweep everything together, blending the colors into the edge and just kind of making everything blend super seamlessly. Okay, and then last but not least is going to be a little bit of inner highlight. So I'm going to take a dense little brush like so. And in the same palette, I'm going to dip into these two colors right here, kind of making a little bit of a combination. And then just kind of starting to sweep it into your inner corner like so. I'm going to add a little bit of setting spray to my brush, just to kind of get a very, very intense color. And then add that to your inner corner. I just went ahead and added a little bit of Let's Do Makeup's collaboration on the lips. It's going to be the colors Tequila on the outside and Cristal on the inside. I obviously didn't apply any false lashes because, as you guys may tell, I have lash extensions, so I don't need to. But you know, at the point where you're putting on lashes, just go ahead and pop on whatever lash you feel comfortable with, and that pretty much wraps up this look. Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps up this easy holiday glam look. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, that's gonna be it for today. I will see you guys in my next one.
Together.